These are devotions for people at a social distance. And this morning in my devotions, I came back to an ancient word of wisdom that seems to be all the more important and all the more apt for today. It is wisdom that is repeated many times in various words in the Bible, but here's one statement of it, Proverbs 12, chapter 15. Fools think their own way is right, but the wise listen to advice. And this is a little piece of wisdom that it has always been really important, and but has seemed to be all the more important in the last year, as we have seen, people in charge, politicians, making various decisions, and in many cases not wanting to listen to the people who've done the research and have looked into things and have some real concerns that are based on reality and observation and what they have seen. And so we have seen various times this has been a huge problem in the past year, especially. It was always a very foolish thing. To not want to listen to the people who know what they're talking about and have done the studies and the research. But it has become in the past year, of course, a matter of life and death in many cases, as people have not wanted to listen to those who have done the research and done the studies and have some knowledge about what we are talking about and listening to. And why is that? Why is it that we don't want to listen to the people who've done the work? Well, it seems to be because we've largely built this culture uh, where we value a show of strength over anything, and the idea that if you're a leader, if you're a political party, and you change your mind, if you change your policy because of new realities, well, that comes across as weak, and it opens you up to being attacked by others as being weak and waffling, and people don't want to look that way. It seems to threaten their power and their base of power, and so people resist listening to wise advice. And that was always a very foolish thing to do. Um, but it's always been something that we've all, on a certain level, been tempted to do, because who wants to look weak? Who wants to look indecisive? But sometimes the situation simply calls for it. And as I say, this has always been a foolish thing, but as we've seen in the past year, when leaders and politicians and political parties have not been willing to listen to advice, it has often had deadly and huge societal consequences. And so let's come back to this piece of wisdom. Let us not forget it. Uh, we've seen a lot of that where I live here in Ontario in the past little while, as we've seen the government going ahead and making decisions based on, we're not always told what, based on their feelings, based on wanting to look tough. Okay, let's shut down the playgrounds, even though nobody in the scientific community is suggesting that that's a huge threat. Let's shut everything down outdoors, even though the science seems to be saying that the outdoors is relatively a whole lot safer. And if we're going to allow people to continue to to live their lives, that's the place we need to be allowing it to happen. But the government not wanting to listen, not wanting to appear to change its mind. So this wisdom is really important. It always has been. And we have seen these huge demonstrations of the importance of this wisdom, of just being willing to listen to other people and change your mind when the information and the data and the research that they're giving you tells you that you need to change what you're doing. It's always been. It's this hugely ancient piece of wisdom, but oh, how relevant for today. Lord our God, all of us, teach us not to be so insecure, not so tied to this projecting of a image of strength and decisiveness, that we will not listen to those who are wise, who have done the work, who have done the research, and who have important information to give us. Open our hearts to the truth, wherever it may come from. Amen.